Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have an Izuku X listener. It's Last Moments by Ren Sung on AO3. The link will be in the description. Before we get into it, I just want to say it's a bit gory, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into it now. Liquid trailed down the sides of your arms, goosebumps forming across your bruised skin at the slightest brush of the wind. Voices and lights smudged together in a rainbow of colors. The blurry outlines of people and fire encased your darkening vision. Where were you again? What were you doing? Why was it so loud? You knew you had the answers to these endless questions, but just as you were on the verge of figuring it out, the pulsating pain drowned them out. Unconsciously, you shifted your foot, and immediately a searing pain shot through your body. A wheezing sound grated against your dry throat, mouth hanging open in a silent scream. Clenching your teeth, tears ran down your dust-covered cheeks, leaving wet trails in their wake. Dizziness and nausea had your body unintentionally trembling, bringing a new wave of excruciating agony to course through your bones with the smallest of movement. You watched your fingers twitch on their own before a loud explosion went off not far from where you were. You didn't mind it though, half-lidded eyes too fixated on watching the veins on your hands and arms begin to protrude and pulsate behind the reddening skin. It was cold, you noticed, and it wasn't due to the weather. You let your gaze wander down to the piece of cement lodging out from where your stomach once was. You couldn't help but wonder when that had gotten there, or why you were even there in the first place. Where was there again? A tree. There was a tree in the middle of the chaos, drenched in the reds and oranges of the fire on the buildings beside it. Despite the black dots crawling across your vision, you couldn't rip your eyes from it. A twinge of familiarity and nostalgia hit you. It filled your alarmingly frigid, stiff body with warmth. If you had more than half a mind, you'd be able to feel the memories slipping out of your grasp, or the way your life drained from your body the same way your blood did. But you still didn't look away. You didn't know why, but you felt like if you were to so much as blink, you'd lose something precious to you. A flash of green hair and freckles. You winced as the migraine intensified. "I'll be your hero, listener. I'll protect you." A hand hesitantly reached out for yours before opting to grab your wrist and said, "What are friends for?" Your heart ached, and not because of the suffocating feeling of your lungs squeezing your chest. A coughing fit racked your body, and pushing past the pain, you brought your hand to cover your mouth from the smoke quickly filling the streets. How long had it been since you were there? You couldn't waste time, you had to. What was it? There was something you had to do. It was getting harder to breathe. You had to crack a smile at the obvious statements your brain decided to provide at your deathbed. Or more like your death rock, seeing as you were laying on a rock. Your inner voice snickered. "Brain hypoxia," a faraway voice echoed. The pain was fading away, but you knew that wasn't a good sign, especially since you couldn't feel the bottom half of your body. No, you couldn't leave because you had to. "Check over there. Be careful with—" "Oh my god, listener, I found them!" A high-pitched voice interrupted your thoughts. "Oh, great. Shit, somebody call the ambulance." "Listener, oh god, please, can you hear me? Hang in there, we're getting help." You could have sworn you felt the ghost of hands over your body, but you couldn't be sure. Yeah, definitely not a good sign. "Ochako, I saw Kirishima running past. Is everything—" A choking sound resonated from someone, followed by a raspy reply. "Listener, no, that's not, it's—" Frantic voices filled the background, but it finally clicked together like a puzzle piece. Deku. Exhaustion clung to your form like heavy weights. and that became prominent when you couldn't find the strength to so much as lift your gaze. It was a miracle you were still alive at this point, even though that was half true, because you felt like you were seconds from letting the darkness consume you. But there was something you had to do. Something. There's so much blood, I can't tell if it's from their stomach or Ochako's, or at least you believed it. It was her voice broke off. You felt as she grasped your hand, and with the little strength you had left, you gave it a subtle squeeze. It'll be okay. Why? You gave up on being a hero just to avoid violence, so why are you? A sob, a sad laugh. You couldn't tell, nor could you process what they were saying. Tears pricked at your eyes from the exertion forced on your throat, but you pushed on. Listener, don't speak, I love you. I love you, Deku. There was a pause, followed by a crying and choked out laughter. A small smile reached your cracked lips, and you closed your eyes. There. Listener, wait. Listener, they're not breathing. Over here, hurry. Hang on, listener, wait, Multiple voices garbled together as unconsciousness lulled you into her embrace. You wouldn't get the happily ever after you've always wished for, but you couldn't have hoped for a better life than the days spent walking next to a certain green-haired boy. Alright, so that's the end of this one. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!